President Trump returns and he rocks CPAC.
Do you miss me yet? Do you miss me yet?
Yeah. And while he was rocking down in Orlando, well, the Democrats, they're actually getting ready to rock Cuomo right out of office. Now, I know some of you in New York, you're having a hard time wrapping your heads around it. I'm talking to those of you that are conservatives, you live in New York, and you're thinking, there's no way he's going to get away with it. The liberals just run amok in this state. But I'm telling you, it's over for him. You had de Blasio, who came out against him. You have the whistleblower, who has come out very credible. You then had the first former aide to come forward and bring a charge of sexual harassment. Now we have a second aide, former aide, I should say, coming forward over the weekend, and the New York Times carrying the allegation. You even have now a report that apparently he actually asked a female reporter if she could, quote, eat the whole sausage. Bill de Blasio on Sunday said that Governor Cuomo should be stripped of all of his emergency power as a result of the sexual harassment investigation, which needs to happen now. You have AOC on Capitol Hill calling for an investigation into Cuomo. And on Sunday, Nancy Pelosi managed to fix her false teeth just long enough to say that we have to take these allegations very seriously and due process needs to be followed for all parties concerned. Is that anything like the same due process you gave Brett Kavanaugh? Yeah, okay. Here's what's happening, and I'll explain it because we're just not used to seeing this. Democrats turning on Democrats. They just don't do that. It's not in their nature. It's not in their DNA. But they know that there's real problems with Cuomo, which means there's a lot more that they know that they've never let on to, that now they've been given the green light. He got to go, which means this nursing home COVID debacle is even worse than we thought. See, the average person can wrap their head around a sex scandal. That's unfortunately the society in which we live. When you get into the nitty-gritty of what he did with COVID, well, things kind of get a little bit murky. And after all, other governors were doing it too, and it was a pandemic, and yada, yada, yada. And it would mean that the Democrats know, though, that if more comes out, which apparently there is an avalanche of how Cuomo has lied and covered up. And don't forget, he's made Hollywood look really, really bad. And they look bad enough on their own, but they gave him an Emmy. People talked about how wonderful he was during the pandemic and his press conferences, and he was so much better at it than Donald Trump, and he kept us safe and he kept us informed, and now we find out he was lying the whole time. He's a bully. He is a thug. He is a mafio capo wannabe. And apparently the Democrats in New York, they've had their fill of this. De Blasio knows that he's in trouble for a re-election bid in New York City. So he needs something to deflect to, and aha, here it is, the governor. And now here come the women. And it won't stop. There's going to be more. Andrew Cuomo is done. Fini. See ya. Bye, 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 bye. He tried to get out in front of the story on Saturday by saying that he was naming a judge to look into these allegations. And then he got severe backlash because apparently the judge is tied to one of his former associates. So then the New York AG stepped in and said, Mr. Governor, we're going to look into this, and you're not going to tell me who I'm going to appoint to look into this. I will appoint an independent counsel. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Cuomo then released a statement on Sunday, and he certainly didn't do anything to help himself when he said that maybe he made some comments that he shouldn't have made, but he was just, quote, being playful. That the one aide that he actually asked if she had ever had sex with older women, she in her 20s, he's in his mid-60s, he has daughters her age. He was saying that he was mentoring her. No, he was grooming her. The more he talks, the creepier this gets, and the Me Too gang, they've had it. They've had it, and now you've got Cynthia Nixon, who was on the HBO show Sex and the City, who ran against Cuomo for the gubernatorial nod from the Democratic Party. She didn't get it, but now she's piling on, and it's only a matter of time before the feminists just come out of the woodwork that they can't have this. Do you understand what losing New York to the conservatives would mean? So, they've got to appear to be in charge of this thing, and they all know. The dirty little secrets behind closed doors, they know what this guy is. They have covered for him, and now they're not covering anymore. Cuomo is done.
Yet Biden said just a few days ago that when he got here, meaning the White House, there was no vaccine. He said, there's no vaccine? Oh, good. Say it again, Joe. Now, I don't think he said that, frankly, in a malicious way. I really don't. I actually believe he said that because he didn't really know what the hell was happening. But
in my opinion, that was the best line that President Trump delivered at CPAC. And it was great. You know, I wasn't sure what I was going to do on Sunday. Was I going to watch the full speech because he was running late? Because after all, you know, I wanted to make sure that I was rested and fresh for the Golden Globe Awards, which looked completely ridiculous, which nobody watched, which were awful. And, you know, no, I didn't watch the Golden Globe Awards. I did watch the president, his triumphant return at CPAC, and of course, even faux pas news, you know, roll out the so-called experts, the panel, and the Karl Rovers there to talk about what Trump needs to do to unite the party. He's got to unite the party. And I found his speech incredibly forward-looking. Now, yes, he did take a lot of time in the very beginning to kind of set the record straight that Joe Biden actually has shocked Donald Trump. He knew it was going to be bad. He just didn't think it would be this bad this quickly. And, you know, killing jobs and going to, you know, what he's doing with immigration. It's just off the charts, wretched what Joe Biden's doing. And Trump was setting the record straight. And then he was also setting the record straight on his response to the coronavirus pandemic. And then he did what Karl Rover and the other Republican experts said you can't do. You can't go after the wimpy rhinos, but go after them he did.
now more than ever is the time for tough, strong, and energetic Republican leaders who have spines of steel. We need strong leadership. We cannot have leaders who show more passion for condemning their fellow Americans than they have ever shown for standing up to Democrats, the media, and the radicals who want to turn America into a socialist country. Instead of attacking me and, more importantly, the voters of our movement, top establishment Republicans in Washington should be spending their energy in opposing Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, and the Democrats. I've said to some of them, I said, you know, during the Obama years and now during Biden, if you spent the same energy on attacking them, you'd actually be successful, as you do on attacking me in many cases. The Democrats don't have grandstanders like Mitt Romney, Little Ben Sass, Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Pat Toomey. And in the House, Tom Rice, South Carolina, Adam Kinzinger, Dan Newhouse, Anthony Gonzalez, that's another beauty, Fred Upton, Jamie Herrera Butler, Peter Meyer, John Katko, David Valadeo, and of course the warmonger, a person that loves seeing our troops fighting, Liz Cheney. How about that? The good news is in her state, she's been censured, and in her state, her poll numbers have dropped faster than any human being I've ever seen. So hopefully they'll get rid of her with the next election. Get rid of them all. Democrats are vicious. Remember this, it's true. Democrats are vicious. He said evil. Well, there is evil there. But they're vicious, they're smart, and they do one thing. Got to hand it to them. They always stick together. You don't have Mitt Romneys in the group. They always stick together. Fortunately, for the Republican Party, the Democrats have horrible policies like open borders, sanctuary cities, defunding the police, and the ridiculous, totally ridiculous, Green New Deal. So they stick together, they're smart, they're vicious, they got everything going, but their policies are no good. So hence we have, congratulations, the Republican Party. After this, they may not stick with those policies. We have to be careful. No, their policies are horrible. Think of it. Defund the police. How did that work out? But if Republicans do not stick together, the rhinos that we're surrounded with will destroy the Republican Party and the American worker, and will destroy our country itself. The rhinos, you know, Republican in name only. But the Republican Party is united. The only division is between a handful of Washington, D.C. establishment political hacks and everybody else all over the country. I think we have tremendous unity. When you look at the crowds outside that want your seat so badly, they will take your seat in 2 seconds. They want your seat. Congratulations. Congratulations on getting in, by the way. I'm very impressed. And that's why I'm announcing that I will be actively working to elect strong, tough, and smart Republican leaders. Speaking of that, I heard Jim Jordan did a great job, right? I heard that from Mark Meadows. I heard it. Oh, there he is. Look at that. Hi, Jim. I heard you were great. In fact, I hated to follow you. I want to follow other people. I could name them, too. I like to follow other people. I heard you were great. Thank you, Jim, very much. Jim Jordan. Great, great athlete. People don't know he was a great wrestler. Tremendous numbers of victories. The NC, he was a champion. He was college champion for a long period of time. He's a winner and a leader, and he doesn't play games. He likes to win. He likes to win. And we have a lot of people in our party that like to win, Jim, right? But I heard you were great. Thank you very much. But we want Republican leaders who are loyal to the voters and who will work proudly for the vision that I've laid out today. And what is it? So simple. Right? So simple. Military, law and order, great trade deals, great education. So simple. Does anybody get it? What are they doing? Does anybody get it? It has just been stated that President Trump's endorsement is the most powerful asset in politics. Do you believe that? Who would have thought that was going to happen? Who would have thought that's going to happen, Jim? In last year's congressional primaries, 120, listen to this, it's crazy. 120 of 122 candidates I endorsed won. 120. That's almost as good as Jim's wrestling record. And the two that lost were beaten by people claiming to be more Trump than their opponent. So I like those two people very much also. In the Senate, I was undefeated in endorsements with a record of 21-0. My endorsement of Mitch McConnell, at his request, it's all right, it's all right. Now, he made a request, he asked for my endorsement, brought him from 1 point down to 20 points up, and he won his race in the great state, and actually the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, and he won it very easily. And I said, I wonder if I'm doing the right thing here, but you know what? I did what I did, but he went from 1 point down to 20 points up very quickly, immediately actually, and he won his race. And if you compare that to his other elections, I'm sure you'll see something interesting, but you know what? We got a Republican elected.
Boom, baby. But what President Trump really did was he again reasserted himself that he is going to be the kingmaker of the party. He is the one that got people elected down ballot on an election that was, well, he didn't just infer it, he stated it over and over. And when he kind of hinted at running again in 2024, he said, yeah, it might be fun to beat him for the third time. Oh, the crowd went nuts. It was a great line. Trump was on his game. I spoke over 2 hours, but I'm going to summarize the whole crux of what he was saying in about 3 minutes here. He is pushing again that we've got to get behind candidates who are solidly conservative, are going to take on, not just give lip service to, but we've got to get election reform done, and we've got to cancel the cancel culture. And we have to get behind candidates that do that so we can take back the House, take back the Senate, and then ultimately take back the White House. And it has to be back to America first, not America last. And I got to be honest with you. I have never understood why the libloons have gone berserk over that whole concept of America first. There is nothing racist about America first. Nothing whatsoever. What is so bad about putting the American people back to work and giving them an opportunity to live the American dream? All Americans. So let's close this rant out today with 3 minutes of inspiration on the return of Trumpism. And Bill Maher was right. Remember, he had said a couple weeks ago that Trump was like Jaws. He was the shark that any minute now could come back in. And Friday night, Bill Maher said, the shark is back. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And actually, him not tweeting and not speaking like he was, you know that right now, the Democrats, they're going berserk. You know that Morning Schmuck and the rest of the mainstream media tore Trump's CPAC appearance apart. Who cares? You know what was great about CPAC? The people were packed into the room. It was live. Everybody was there. It wasn't piecemeal, and it wasn't, you know, people sitting in a room watching a Zoom meeting, kind of like the Golden Globes were. They had one host in New York, one in California, and they tried to simulcast them next to each other. The whole thing just looked like typical virtue signaling. We don't even know if those were actually really movie stars or TV stars sitting at the tables. They were just people in nice gowns and tuxes with masks on. We don't really know who they were because all the stars that were nominated for anything were all sitting at home in their living rooms, and they were responding via Zoom. It was pathetic. It was as bad as the DNC convention over the summer. But what was great about CPAC was all those people were gathered in one room, you know, being super spreaders, thousands out on the streets who wanted to be in the room. It was great. It was normal. It was Trump. It was the return of let's make America great again. Let's put America first again.
I'm going to continue to fight right by your side. We will do what we've done right from the beginning, which is to win. We're not starting new parties. You know, they kept saying, he's going to start a brand new party. We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before. I am not starting a new party. Many people have asked, what is Trumpism? A new term being used more and more. I'm hearing that term more and more. I didn't come up with it. It means low taxes and eliminating job-killing regulations, Trumpism. It means strong borders. It means no riots in the streets. It means law enforcement. It means very strong protection for the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms. It means support for the forgotten men and women who have been taken advantage of for so many years, and they were doing great. And it means a strong military. And of course, we respect our great American flag. You know, when you think about we love you, you're saying that about, I hate to say it, am I a politician? I don't know, maybe I'm a politician. I hate to admit it, but that's really, it's an honor that you would say it. We believe in patriotic education and strongly oppose the radical indoctrination of America's youth. It's horrible. We embrace free thought. We stand up to political correctors, and we reject left-wing lunacy, and in particular, we reject cancel culture. This election was rigged, and the Supreme Court and other courts didn't want to do anything about it. We need election integrity and election reform immediately. Republicans should be the party of honest elections that can give everyone confidence in the future of our country. Without honest elections, who has confidence? Who has confidence? With your help, we will take back the House. We will win the Senate, and then a Republican president will make a triumphant return to the White House, and I wonder who that will be.
Hey, that's it for this rant. Give us a thumbs up and a great big like. Make sure you smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of my next rant.